Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my wonderful interviews. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, I was talking about the possibility of deregistering your car. You know, sending back your license and saying, I don't want to be in the system anymore. I don't want to obey any of your silly rules. I don't want to let this 20 miles an hour. It's ridiculous. What am I driving? A Ferrari or a milk float? All of that. You may remember I was looking at that and a number of people got in touch and they said, oh, Richard, it's not as easy as that. I tried it. Allegedly, Dave got in touch, actually. He sent me a video of him having his car towed away, which is a bit of a shame. And I do intend to get, allegedly, Dave back on the show to talk about his experience. And also, I've had some information, and I can't remember who originally sent this to me, about a scam, and I mentioned it on a video, in which, coming down the line, you may be sitting at home with your feet up watching Neighbours, if it's still on, or watching paint dry. It doesn't really matter. Probably amounts to the same thing. And there's a knock at the door, and somebody comes in and says, we need to take a breathalyzer. Why is that? Because of drink driving. What do you mean? I'm not driving, and the car's been stone cold. I haven't moved it for a week. I'm sorry, sir. We would like to take you down the nick. Can that possibly be true? Is that really going on? Can we deregister our car? Can we get out of the system? I know a man who knows whether this is true or not. You've met him before. He's been on the show from the sovereignproject.live. It is the wonderful Sovereign Pete. Hello, Pete.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for coming back onto the show. It's always grand to have you here. Another baldy like myself.
Yes.
It's just, his favourite haircut. Which this time of the year, although it's not that cold, but, it's like I'm starting to wear a nice dapper hat.
Yeah, I think I might get one myself.
That's it. A nice tipfer. So cars. Let's talk about cars, whether we're drunk in charge of them or stone sober as a judge, allegedly, and whether we can deregister it. So let's talk about this drinking driving thing, because this just sounds nuts.
Yes, it's getting way out of hand. I managed to get some information from a government licensed organization that has direct links with the courts. So I know that this information is genuine.
Right.
I think we could probably bring something up on the screen, and I'm going to quickly go through a few bits and pieces with people just to explain what's actually going on. And also what's happening is that people have been caught out with this already. So I'll just quickly go through this.
Please do.
The people behind government have an agenda to take all cars away from the people. With one way being ULEZ, we all know that now.
Yes, and I found myself foul of it myself, driving into Bath.
Yeah, we all saw that video. We're all talking about that. So we've got to do something about that as well, which Sovereign Project's got something in the pipes. We are working on that. So we're very busy, me and my team. So the other is being high fuel, because they put the cost of fuel up. Another one is insurance costs, and I'm hoping we'll get time today, and I'm going to show you the insurance scam when people figure this out. Anyway, we'll get into that. So these are designed to cost people out of the market. All right. So another way is to get rid of their license. Okay.
Right.
So
that's, how do you get rid of somebody's license if they're perfectly law abiding?
Yes, that's right. And of course, when we refer to law abiding, it's legal abiding within.
Yes, that's true. Policy. Sorry, I've got to mind my language when you're on the show.
That's fine. That's fine. So one tactic they're going to use is drink driving. Okay, to further take away your car, the government will be using this method to take much more from you. So they're not going to just stop at the car. They're going to use this to be able to break into your home and violate your rights and all sorts of stuff.
Blimey.
So within the legal system, the police follow policy that allows the following to be applied to any member of the public. So I'm already giving people a clue here. All right.
Right. A member of the public. Yes. Are you a member? Are you a joined up member?
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone in the sovereign fraternity will know exactly what I mean. So there is clues here. And so they're going to be using the excuse of drink driving. So it should be noted that you do not even need to be driving or even over the state limit to be convicted. All right.
Now, how can I stop you there just for a second, Pete? Just momentarily, because if you're not driving, and you've not been drinking, or you're over the state limit,
Yeah.
how can they possibly have any kind of case against you?
I know. This is insane. And we're going to go through some of these things. So I'll try and there's quite a lot, but I will just touch base on some of these points. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to try and touch on it, and I'm trying to explain how they're getting away with it. So below is a list of points within legislation that the police are allowed to follow to bring about a conviction. So number one is you do not need to be driving a vehicle or even sat inside one.
Right.
Two, the vehicle can be parked on your driveway, locked without the engine running. These are policies.
I mean, that's insane.
I know. So it's parked, locked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even engine running.
How do they? I mean, I don't understand how they can possibly make a case. I mean, if you've got a witness as well.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Number three. Just the action of walking past your vehicle, notice we're using the term vehicle, regardless of where it is parked, can be used to convict you. So what they're trying to say is that you had the intent to drive drunk.
Right.
I go, what?
But there's no crime committed until you've actually done the drive. That's the, you know, or no policy abused.
Yeah, that's right. Where's the victim? I haven't done anything. Oh, no, it's your intention. It was your intention to drive. What? So, number four, you can even, your car can even be parked on private land and the conviction will still go ahead. So a lot of people saying, oh, no, it's parked on a private land. No, doesn't matter. Now, I know how they're getting away with this because technically no one actually owns private land. I think we touched on this in a previous podcast because everyone's been tricked into buying real estate or a lot or a deed of trust, which means you don't actually own the land itself. You don't have the controlling interest, but you just have the right to live there, and that's it. So it's not private. It's not private to you. So that's how they get away with that, because people think it's private land and go, no, it's not. You know, if it's leasehold, freehold, whatever, if it's a lot number, no, that's not private land. The definition of vehicle not only covers registered motorbikes, cars, vans, and trucks, it also covers non-registered transport, such as electric bikes, scooters, including mobility scooters. So you can
What's interesting there is non-registered.
Yes. Non-registered. Now, I know how they're getting away with this as well, because the things I just mentioned, the electric bike, the scooters, and the mobility scooters, have a serial number. And there's the trap, because as we now know, if you have something with a serial number on it, you don't own it, because the serial number refers to the manufacturer's statement of origin that someone else controls, and that's how they do it.
If you took the serial number off, or you hid it, or you adapted it.
Yeah, well, what you would be doing is actually you'd be committing fraud, you see, because you don't have the right to remove it. But there is a way out. We will get. I know. We will
get too doomstruck.
We don't do doom and gloom.
Good.
Sovereign Project doesn't do doom and gloom. I don't want people to get worried. There is a way out.
Okay. Right.
But I'm just warning people what's already here.
Yes, this is quite staggering. I think people will be shocked.
Yeah. Okay, the state imposes alcohol limits. The state-imposed alcohol limits are different and depends on the country you operate in, which suggests the set limit is bureaucratic and not based on scientific level. So,
is this coming from like the WEF? Is this coming from above rather than our government?
It could well be. I'm not exactly sure the source of the primary or original source of where it came from, but it does affect countries.
Yes.
Because obviously different countries have different drink drive limits because it's bureaucratic. But for example, Scotland and England have different set limits. So you might think you're under the limit, drive across the border, and then suddenly you're over the limit, and now you're going to get charged.
Interesting.
So there's that. Regardless of the state-imposed limits, you can still be convicted of drink driving, even if you are below the limit. Below.
This is. I mean, how does this stand up though? If you go to court and you say, "Well, I'm below the limit. I parked my car 8 miles away. It's in another country. I don't even own this car anymore. I've sold it." How the hell can it possibly get to court?
I know. This is insane. I couldn't believe when I received this I was thinking exactly
This
the
is,
same.
I mean, let's just have a chat here. This is definitely genuine. It's not
Yeah,
a sort of an April Fool's in December joke.
absolutely not. This is direct from a. We won't
But
mention
how
the
would
name.
it stand up in court?
Well, I think a lot of people are now beginning to realise that the courts are just making it up as they go along.
Yes,
They don't
but
even seem to follow their
I
own
mean,
rules.
surely justice. I mean, it's not only got to be done; it's got to be seen to be done, and it wouldn't be, you know. I mean, surely it would be laughable, and if it was printed in a paper, somebody came along and said, "Look, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
The car is out there. It's actually had its tyres removed. It's physically impossible to drive the vehicle, and yet I've been done for drink driving that vehicle."
Yep.
I mean, how he said. I mean, this would be the audience will be going.
I know.
How can they bring that I could understand them trying it on,
I know.
but how? I mean, surely even in a corrupt society, there comes a point where even the most corrupt society go, this is a bit difficult to do because you know you're a paraplegic. You can't get out the chair.
Yes.
There's a vehicle outside. You know, you couldn't
Yes.
physically get in it, and yet you've been done for drink driving. Or you know, if you touch any alcohol, you will die. And we've got a note from your doctor, and yet somebody has brought this to the. I mean, surely they would dismiss these cases.
Yes, I know. It's insane. I mean, if you look at some of the stories that is coming out from courts and people are
Mm.
being convicted under the shocking accusations. There was a lady who was convicted. Oh, no, I think she was arrested. She was arrested for praying silently outside an abortion clinic.
Yes, I saw that. I did see that.
If people don't start waking up, I don't. I'm like shaking people. But can't you see this?
Can't you see this? I mean, I mean, the good news about this, of course, if you ask me, with all these things, is most MPs will probably be arrested by default. Would they not? I mean, their car's probably outside. They probably have a tipple of something inside. They probably have chauffeurs that drive the cars. But even so, that would be enough. You know, I mean, it seems to me that if you have any connection, if you dreamt of a car and you are breathing, you're drunk and driving. You know,
That's right.
from that list. Shall we have a look at a few more?
That's right. Yeah.
Go
I
on,
mean, it gets worse.
Oh my God, it can't
This
possibly
gets
get
worse.
Right, where did we get to?
So number 6, I think it was.
Oh yes, is this the police?
Yes, let's see the suspicion one. Yeah, the police can randomly check anyone for any reason under the guise of suspicion, which is obviously subjective.
Yes.
Number 9.
I mean, surely the police themselves must go, I just can't do this because you would have thought. I mean, I know some of the police aren't very helpful, but anyway, go on.
They're in it for the money because remember, every single conviction that they get, they're making £100,000 plus.
Yes.
So
But I
that's
think
it's all about the money.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's suspicion. Yeah. So when a police officer charges you with drink driving, you are considered guilty until proven innocent. Did you get that?
Yes. It's again the wrong way around.
Yeah. Guilty until proven innocent. Here's another one. Number 10. The police are not obligated to provide any evidence of their claim.
Which is ridiculous. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in a police state then.
Yeah. They can make anything up now. At this point, they can just make any wild claim they want.
And
You are
how?
now guilty.
Yeah. So here we go. The next one. Read that one out.
Yeah. It is your responsibility to prove your innocence.
How the hell are you supposed to do that? Because you say, well, I'm not drink driving. I'll prove it. I'll blow into your machine. Well, you could say, look, it says 0, and the policeman can look at it and go, I don't see that, sir. I see that it's gone into the red. Well, check your bloody eyes. Get some other people. Oh, no, sir. That's true, sir. I'm afraid to say you're coming along with us.
Yes, that's how it works. Then we go. Once charged without evidence, the police have the right to force a breath test, urine test, and a blood test upon you.
Now, that would be all right if you could trust it was an independent test and you would have faith in the result.
That's true. And then you get to the next section.
Oh, my giddy aunt. Here we go.
Now, remember, one point to make here is that if you accept the test, then you've also accepted the obligation of the result of the test. You see the trap?
Right.
So if you say, okay, then I'll take a breathalyzer test, you've lost. Because what you've just done is you've actually turned around and you've said, okay, then I'll take the test. Therefore, you accept the obligation.
Yeah.
All right. So Here we go. Urine test. Yeah. So the police have used shop-bought breath testers that have not been calibrated. So just the ones off the shelf.
Yeah.
Now here's another one. The police are also using a swab-style test, which also tests for drugs. However, this test can produce false positives. It is nothing more than a PCR test. We all know about PCR tests.
We know how wonderfully accurate those PCR tests were in a certain medical problem what you've had.
Intervention, yeah. If you are unable to give a specimen for whatever reason, including health issues, this will be considered as a refusal and you will automatically be convicted of drink driving.
Right. So there you are, somewhat nervous. You can't manage to pee into a pot. And so, I see, sir, as you are unable to produce the said specimen with 15 of our hardened officers watching you.
Yep.
I see you are obviously drunk and we will be taking you down the nick. I can I mean, it is so laughable. It's just not true, but it clearly there's some basis to this. This is like Comedy Christmas, isn't it? Let's have a look at the next exciting episode of Comedy Christmas.
Yeah, it gets worse.
Oh my God, it can't get any worse, surely. Bloody hell.
So, right, here's the thing. The police are allowed to deny you of your right to legal due process until you provide a specimen. So
in other words, the bit earlier said you were able to prove your innocence. If you don't want, but part of your proving your innocence might be not to give a specimen, and you might have some other thing. So you can't, you don't get legal due process until you've, whatever this specimen may be, and you may want, it's your own DNA that's in the blood, it's your own urine and whatever.
Yes, that's right. You are not allowed due process until you give a specimen.
Oh my God! I've just read the next one.
Yes. So you are not allowed to speak to your solicitor or seek any legal advice before taking any test. You're done at that point. You've lost.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you've lost right from the start, but this is even worse. You've got no legal advice.
Yep. None at all. Then it gets worse.
Oh, gosh.
So you shall be denied access to the pacebook until after taking a test.
Just to explain what the pacebook is?
Yeah, the pacebook. Now, here's the thing. The pacebook, what it is there is a handbook that the police have to follow. It's all their rules, regulations, policies of what they are allowed to do and what they cannot do. Every single person has the right to that pacebook when you turn up at the police station. In fact, the very first question you should say, everything stops, get me the pacebook. And then the police have got to stop what they're doing, give you the pacebook, give you as much time as you want, read through it, check everything, and then you can authorize, yes, you're allowed to do that. Yes, you're allowed to do that. But you're not allowed to have the pacebook until after you've given a specimen. So after the test. You've got to do the test, and then you get the pacebook.
Yeah.
So this means you are unable to check the legal process of what the police are allowed to do. So you can't even verify their own statements.
Oh, yeah.
So being unable to give a test or being over the limit or even under the limit will result in a conviction that will mean a license ban of at least 12 months and large fines. And of course, the police are making tons of money on these fines.
Yes.
Now it starts getting serious.
Right.
The police are allowed to break into the home of the registered keeper without the need of a warrant.
So they may as well just go from house to house, mightn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they may as well just go house to house and just confiscate people's licenses or break people's legs, whichever is the easiest.
That's right. You see what they've done? They've set the legislation up and their rules. They've set it up in such a way that all they have to do is accuse someone of drink driving, and that's it. Now,
is this on legislation.co.uk? Can people find where this is written?
With some serious searching, you can find it. It won't be written like this. What I've done is I've turned it into English.
Right. Okay.
All right. So otherwise, if I speak in their legalese, no one will understand it. Go, what's that meaning? So this is the translation.
Okay. All right.
So he won't say this. He won't. So a lot of people, unfortunately, when they start getting into this, it's like utility companies or something like that.
Yeah, it's all in coded words.
Exactly. People start
Okay.
learning about Sister KV Trust and say, "Oh, where does it say that the government pays our utility bills?" No, it doesn't say that. It's written in legalese. You've got to dissect it and die. So
Right.
anyway, but that is a serious one. So they can break into the home of the registered keeper without the need of a warrant.
Yeah.
Once you have a conviction, your insurance shall increase, and your conviction can be used by an insurance policy to not pay out, even if the insurance is not related to a vehicle policy. So if you've taken out home insurance or boat insurance or any other form of insurance, and
Yeah.
you did not tell the insurance company that you've got a conviction, they say, "Oh, we're not paying out then," even though it's got nothing to do with drink driving or a vehicle.
Yes. And the fact that you weren't even drinking or driving.
Yep, that's right. So, after conviction, you can be denied entry into a country and your right to travel shall be denied. Now we can start seeing what's going on here. This is much, much more serious
Yeah.
because they're going to stop you leaving the country or within the jurisdiction of a country. So, with a conviction placed on your driving license, you shall be marked for a period of 10 years by the police, giving them a reason to stop you at any time for any reason. This is where the number plate comes into place. We'll get into that in a minute.
Right.
Note, the license plate on your car is linked to the VIN number of the car, which is linked to your driver's license number, your credit rating, your home address, your bank account details, and your health records, and any other registered accounts you have. So a lot of people think, oh, they're going to bring in a digital ID. They've already done
Yeah.
it. It's already
Right.
here. It's operating right now, and it's a blend of your VIN number on your vehicle and your it's called let me just remember this MIN number on your mobile phone. Okay, which is can't remember what it is. I can just quickly look that up.
Yeah. Get rid
Um,
of the bloody mobile phone is the answer.
yeah, mobile phone and your VIN number on your car, those two are the two halves of the digital ID. So it's already operating. All they want to do is combine the two. It's very simple for them to do that, and they're on the way doing this. The MIN number on your mobile phone is your mobile subscription identification number. You got MIN is the mobile identification number. So, and also the number 25. Oh, yeah. You will have to give a blood sample and DNA test with a DVLA doctor, not your GP, which stays on the government record. You cannot get your driver's license back unless you complete this. And of course, that's them logging DNA, isn't it? Now they've got your blood sample, DNA, everything on their government record, and you've consented to all of it. So, pretty bleak.
That does sound pretty bleak, and I mean, I just find it I'm surprised that it's there, but as you say, it's somewhere on legislation.co. So when did that come in?
Well, they've been sneaking it in for several years. So some of it I've actually knew for a while. I actually knew about the Pace book for a few years. That one I've already knew. The breaking into the home without a warrant, I didn't know, but now I've seen evidence of that. So that's happening now. Denied entry into a country, I did know for a while, knew that for a few years. So some of these that I already knew.
But some of them are just so barking mad. I mean,
Yeah,
as I've already expressed, I can't continue to express the nonsense of it.
yeah.
So okay, you're saying you're not full of doom and gloom, although
Yes.
you've given us some nice doom and pretty good gloom here for Christmas, especially if you're thinking of going anywhere or
Yes.
having a tipple at the celebratory season. So what are the solutions? What's the remedies, dear boy?
Yes, absolutely. This is what we've got to get into, and this.
And yet, submachine gun by the door.
I'm with you on that. I'm behind you all the way.
I'm not, just in case the YouTube algorithm is there listening, that's called comedy, satire, that sort of thing. It's a joke.
Yes.
Thank you. One has to point that out.
You do nowadays.
You've got to point everything out.
Sense of humor is gone. It's terrible, isn't it?
Anyway, you misheard me. I said submarine at the door. It's what I said. I said submarine at the door. So, the algorithm's hard of hearing these days.
I thought he was on about a sandwich, one of those subs,
Yes, that's or a sandwich board.
Sandwich.
Especially if you're bored of sandwiches. Just eat the wood. Anyway, so the remedies, dear boy.
Yes, remedies. Now, also, what I'm going to ask people that are not remedies, let's touch on that very quickly because I know a lot of people. There was talk about someone did a petition because they wanted to petition the government, which is a corporation, about the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, and it was rejected. Okay. Yeah, everyone who did that, okay, look, well done. You're doing something. You get top marks. I don't want to be insulting anybody because at least you're trying. But you've got to understand what a petition is. If you do a petition, you're accepting the obligation. So
Yeah.
if you do a petition, you're accepting, yes, you should be doing 20 miles an hour, but you don't want to. So you're now petitioning against it. You see the problem with that? So you can't use petitions. You can't use protests. All those don't work. Okay.
Yes, because effectively you're saying you have the power, and now I'm asking you, or I'm
Begging,
begging, please, can
please.
you give us some liberty here?
Yes.
And I'm learning, you see.
Yes. Yeah.
But by the very fact that you are protesting, is you've already agreed that they hold the power, because in order to protest against something, you're assuming that that person is at a higher level than you.
Yes. Exactly right. You got it.
Got it. Yeah.
That's how it works. This is how it works.
So you can't do that.
Can't do
What
that.
can you bloody well do?
That's right. Well, first of all, you've got to understand what the game is, what is happening, what is actually going on.
Yes.
To understand that, I'm going to give you a very brief description of what is going on. A lot of your audience will already know this. We know that the UK is a corporation. We know that.
Yeah.
Corporation is not
doesn't hurt not repeating it, because, like advertising, the drip drip message, until eventually someone goes, "Oh, did you know the government is a corporation?" Yeah, I've been telling you that for 10 years.
Yes,
Finally it's sunk in.
It's about time the penny drops.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. You never said it. I bloody did, mate. I blooming well did.
I'm going to get a T-shirt made.
Yeah.
So
anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
But no, it's cool. So yeah, so it's a corporation. We know that now. By the way, corporation means dead entity. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a business, but a corporation can be a business. Okay, so people get a little bit confused.
Yes, I confess I've said a corporation is a for-profit business, but it doesn't need it's a concept more than anything else, isn't it?
Correct. I mean, it's made up of two words, which is corp, meaning body, dead body, and oration, which is to speak. So you're speaking dead body. You're creating something that doesn't exist, a dead entity. Yes. It only exists on paper. Your word to the paper. You write it down, and it only exists in paper. Corporation.
Within the legal system.
Yes, that's right. It's all legal. It's all contracts. It's all legal fictions made up. Exists on paper only. So the UK is not the land at all. And there is no such thing as UK roads, okay? The physical tarmac that our wheels and our feet walk upon, that's just called roads, period. End of. Roads. So you go, okay, then who owns them? Well, we all do. And that's the people, and not the abstract we the people, but us as an individual collectively own the roads. I own it, you own it. Everyone.
So how is it that we own it?
Yes, it's
because people haven't got a bit of paper. Oh yes, this is my bit of road here, mate.
Yes, absolutely great point. Basically, this is where common law gets placed. Okay.
Yes.
You've probably heard of the commons. Okay. So this is where the fields are. Children play. They're playing in the commons. The reason it's called commons is it's common for everyone to use it. Okay.
Common land.
Yes, common land. So now, not the state common land. That's a legal title. We're talking about living, breathing, 3D world, living, breathing man and woman, common to all land. Okay. Mm. Now, going back to you're correct on the paperwork, is normally to say that you own something, you need to prove it normally with a deed. Okay. But in this case, no one is actually allowed to own it. We all share it. So if someone tried to say, I now own the roads, I'm going to write a deed, and I said, right, the roads are mine. There you go. There's my deed. The rest of us will go, oh, no, you don't, fella, because I can use that road as well. And you're violating my rights. You're violating my right to travel. That's why no one can claim the roads as solely theirs. Okay. Now we know that, and the government know this, the people behind government know this, they absolutely know this 100%. So they steer away from this. And what they do is they create a legal jurisdiction that is placed upon the physical road, okay, which means it exists on paper only. And that is what is called UK roads. So whenever you hear that UK road thing, it's corporate. It's just a jurisdiction. And for you to be in that jurisdiction, you have to enter into the contract. You have to agree.
Yes.
And you go, well, how do I do that? You register your car. So once you register your car, I'm going to just touch on this very briefly. It's much more complicated than this. When a car is built and it's brand new, an original document is created called the manufacturer's statement of origin. On that original document is all rights, title, certificates thereof. It's a Lloydial title. Okay. Now what happens is that car, when it's sold, it's supposed to be sold to the new owner with that manufacturer's statement of origin, and then he has a Lloydial title. But that's not what happens. Manufacturer's statement of origin goes to the transport department and the treasury department of the corporation called the UK or Canada or United States of America or Australia, whatever the corporation is. What they then do is they take that, and it has the same value as the car itself, and they put that into trust, layman's terms. And then what they do is they create another certificate from that original document called Certificate of Conformity. Now, when that happens, what you've just done, or what's happening, is that your private car or conveyance has now been converted into a vehicle for commerce. So you've now agreed that I am now using my private car, but I'm now using it in commerce, and it's now a vehicle. That's why it's called conformity. That certificate of conformity then goes to the DVLA when you buy the car brand new, because obviously the dealer registers it for you. That is then placed into trust with the DVLA. They take ownership control of the car indirectly, and you are just left with user rights, and it's limited user rights. Okay, and you are now called the registered keeper, and that's all you are. And then you get a V5, and on there says you are a registered keeper. Even says it on it, this is not proof of ownership. By the way, receiving a receipt is not proof of ownership. Receipt only means proof of sale. So to have proof of ownership, you've got to have the manufacturer's statement of origin or the original deed to the thing, you see. And you could have had a unlawful sale and still receive a receipt. But if the person selling you the thing didn't own it, then it wasn't a righteous sale, if that makes sense.
So let me just ask you this question then.
Yep.
Say I go and buy 4 wheels, and I buy some bits and pieces, and I'm a bit of a whiz at joining together like a big Meccano set, and I make effectively my own conveyance, which runs on some form of motorized system to save me pedaling, and I go, well, all these bits are mine now. I'll write my own certificate of manufacture, whatever it is you said, and I slap that on it. I go, there you go. This is now I own this because I built it myself out of all these odds and ends. And it has become a unit of in its own thing, and I'm going to call it a conveyance. I'll call it the Vogue Mobile, and I might use it myself. I might build several and give them to my friends with the certificate of say, well, that's yours now, mate. There, I'll drive in this monstrosity. No thanks, Rich. I think I'll give that one a miss. Am I then? I'm not obliged to register that at all if I don't want to, presumably, because I've built it myself, but I ought to be able to drive it on the road.
Correct, 100%. And this is where mindset comes into play, because people are so brainwashed that they think it's the law. Oh, I have to register my car with a corporation. Well, if you think that way, you've already lost.
But getting that initial certificate of manufacture, what did you call it? The certificate?
Yeah, it's what it is a manufacturer's statement of origin.
Manufacturer's statement of origin. Getting that, is that an easy thing if you're buying second hand, you've got no hope, have you?
That's right. I mean, we can dig a bit deeper into this. Now, this is going to expose some fraud. Well, the whole thing's fraudulent, but this is more fraud on top.
Yeah, manufacturer's statement of origin.
Yes, manufacturer's statement of origin. It can't be a certificate. Remember, a certificate means copy of, and a certificate means copy of from a higher authority. So if you get a certificate, it's from someone else.
Yes, so it's a statement, and anybody can make a statement.
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
got
So,
it, got it.
and
Language, you see, the language is so important,
it
isn't it?
really is. It
And
really
we don't
is.
think about the words and their meanings, and you go, oh, yeah, certificate. Well, somebody issues the certificate.
Yes.
You're quite right. And it's
Yep.
usually somebody who's, as you say, is in either a different jurisdiction or in a
Higher
different,
authority.
a higher authority. Exactly, right, yeah. Whereas a statement is, I'm expressing this,
Yes.
I made it,
Yes.
and it's mine.
I'm the authority. I am the author.
And
of
I
the
am the,
statement.
yeah, I am the sovereign man.
I am the sovereign.
Leave it alone. Exactly. There we are. Good. Okay.
So,
Yeah, you're going to expose something really big
yeah,
now.
this is the trick. Now, I know a lot of people are going down this path anyway. So, trying to get back that manufacturer statement of origin is going to be impossible. The reason being is it's been sold. Okay, because it's worth the same as the car
As
itself.
the
So
car, yeah.
and what you've done is you've given it to the Treasury. I found this out through a long time ago when I was looking into Gordon Brown, and he used to be the
Gordon
Prime Minister.
Brown. Da, 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 da. Yeah, sorry.
And I was researching gold standard and all the rest of it, and realized he sold the UK's gold. And I went, oh, blood, that means that the pound isn't based, on gold and all the rest of it. Now, when I was researching that, I uncovered that he had sold off some securities and bonds and all that, and I didn't really know what I stumbled upon. I thought, what's all this mean? I didn't understand any of this back then. And I think Gary Fraun speaks about this as well. So I don't know if you've ever had him on as a guest, but he'd be really good.
Gary, yeah, we've just done a book giveaway. In fact,
Oh.
can I just say, if anyone's watching and people keep sending me an email with stopper in the thing, I only had about 5 books to give away, and about 200 people want it, and they're still getting going, Richard, can I have one of Gary's books? There were only 5. I posted them. You will get them. They've gone. That's it. Done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's why I don't think I'll ever do a giveaway again, because it's like, unless, because every suddenly people think, oh, you've got a great stack of them. No. It was just, a few. He was very generous, but lovely bloke, Gary. Very lovely.
He is. Yeah, he is very knowledgeable as well. He's
Yes.
got some good information. We had a chat once. I'm going to touch base with him in the new, actually.
Yeah, he's a lovely bloke.
Yeah. I've got so many plans. Anyway, but yeah, he discovered a similar sort of thing. So at the same thing. So basically, what they've done, layman's terms, is they've sold all these to support the GDP of the UK corporation.
Right.
So they're gone, and that's what they've always done since then. So they've always sold them. The reason why the government was selling them is because no one was collecting them. The average person didn't even know they existed.
No.
So no one collected them. No one asked for them. So
they saw a wheeze and they went for it.
Yeah, they're worth billions. You add it all up over several. When was it?
Do they, just as a matter of interest, you said they're the same value as the car.
Yeah.
The car depreciates because it falls to bits. Presumably, these statements of origin, they're just bits of paper, so they don't fall to bits in the same way, do they? Did they lose value?
Not really, because they still accrue interest.
Right.
So it's sold. It's a bit more. It's securitized. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, that's above my.
Yeah. That's another video. I don't. I'm trying to do a simple version so people can follow along.
We're doing our best, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing our best. So okay, so they've been sold. So where does that leave us?
Right. This is where we get into our correct mindset. Right. It's all about mindset. Now, as everyone hopefully watching this, everyone in your audience will know this, is you have the right to terminate any contract, period.
Right. Oh, right. You have, let's just repeat that. You have the right to terminate a contract.
Any contract, ever.
That you have signed.
Correct.
Or been part of, yes.
Yeah.
Not somebody else's, obviously.
No, mine.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, there could be repercussions. It's not a problem. Let's say, for example, you have a contract.
Like with the phone, and you say, I don't want to have the phone. They say, oh, that's fine, but you're going to pay 500 quid, mate. Consider agreeing on, innit?
Now,
sorry, something wrong with my face there.
Because, of course, service contract, that's a service contract, not a full contract. It's a service agreement.
Right.
But you have the right to cancel any contract. Don't go looking for this. This is something you have.
Yes, this is right. Okay, I'm just writing it down to remind myself.
Remind yourself, yeah. Because when I say this to people, I say, you have the right to privacy, and they go, "Oh, where's that written?" I go,
"Yes."
Oh, for the love of God.
Yeah.
No, you have it. It's yours.
It's yours. It's yours to start with.
Yes. Now,
Nobody tells you this. That's the
no one,
thing.
yeah, it's mindset. You see, the thing with a contract is if you can't leave a contract, that makes you a slave.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm not saying that if you enter into an honorable contract and then you default on it, that's slightly different. Okay. But you can terminate a contract. So, say if you go and work for somebody and you've worked for them for 2 years and now you want to end the contract, you can. You give you 14 days notice. I'm terminating. I'm leaving. The boss can't turn around and say, "No, you're not. You're going to work here for the rest of your life."
Yes.
What? So you can terminate any contract. Now, the DVLA is a corporation. We know that. It's the same as McDonald's, exactly the same. It's got a DUNS number. It's got
Burger's not as good, but I mean,
yes.
I don't know. They might be better.
It might be better.
I'm not passing judgment because obviously,
No.
what I'm saying is, their ability to produce them aren't as quick. Let's say. Anyway,
but they're a corporation. So the DVLA is a corporation. So I have the right to terminate. Okay. So you would terminate. Now, very simplistically put, is you would do the 3-letter process. And what you would do is you serve a notice of termination and you would request that they return, the DVLA returns your manufacturer statement of origin and your certificate of conformity. You just request it. Say, right, I want those documents. And I'm not getting into a legal argument or a legal debate. This is a request. Get it done. You've got 30 days. I'm not interested in, we can't find it. Not interested. Because the DVLA is actually operating as a trust. They're the trustees. I'm the beneficiary, which means I have the authority. I administrate. Okay. So the DVLA will bluff you and say, no, we can't do it. Blah, 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 blah. So you've done the 3-letter process. You go, all right, then I'm going to consider them lost then. So if you won't return them, then those documents no longer exist. And I am now going to claim the car for myself using an affidavit. So I hereby claim this car without the number plate. Registration is not yours anyway. You can't use that. Ford Mondeo or whatever it is now mine. I have the allodial title. I have all rights, titles, privileges thereof. No other authority is above me. No other person can make a claim to it. It's now mine. It's now private property at the end.
Yeah.
Once the affidavit is done, you file it with the court, which is where it might get difficult because the court's not going to play ball with you. But we'll get into that. Once that's done, you create a deed, brand new deed, bang, you've now owned the car outright in the private. And I am thinking about putting it on the blockchain, but that's something else that I'm working on in the background. I'm going to turn it into an NFT, and then it's decentralized.
NFT? What does that mean?
Yeah, NFT, non-fungible token.
All right.
So there's a technique where you can actually apply an NFT to an actual object in reality using a QR code, and then you can just scan the car, for example, and then you're dealing with the correct owner, so it's not stolen.
Right.
The details will come up. But anyway, that's what I'm working on in the new year. Anyway, so all that's done. Now your car is yours. So what you would then do is you'd send the V5 book along with the number plates to the DVLA, say, right, I've now deregistered, got nothing to do with you anymore. You've got 30 days to remove all my information from your database. Otherwise, you'll be liable for damages. After 30 days, you can disarm if you want and then sue them, because if they haven't taken your name and address off their database, they're in violation of your data, sorry. And then what you can do, once you've got that, you are now operating in the private. That means ULEZ doesn't apply at all. Yellow markings on the road does not apply. Parking tickets don't apply. Speeding tickets don't apply. The 20 mile an hour does not apply to you. None of it. Because you are no longer in contract with DVLA. Therefore, the highway code does not apply to you, because highway code is just corporate policy. That's all it is. Yes. But it doesn't operate. You don't operate in that justice.
I mean, you can choose to drive on the left instead of driving on the right, because it just saves you having to swerve by, what I'm saying is you could choose to use the code as a common sense thing.
Yes.
Rather than be obliged to do it.
Threatened with violence. So in other words, it's a guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than the system at the moment is you're threatened with violence. That if you don't do it, you're going to get arrested and put in a cell. Yeah. Which we don't want.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing is that we all know traffic lights. It doesn't mean that if you're driving in the private, you're going to suddenly ignore the red light and barrel through at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, because you don't want to hit somebody else, because that's not very honourable either, is it? Exactly. And you don't want to have the claim against you.
Exactly.
So you're going to obey the rules in a sensible way. Because why wouldn't you?
Yes. But it's as a guidance. It's the same as like if you walk into a shop to get a mince pie or something like that, and there's a big queue of 20 people, you don't barge through. and say,
Yeah,
right,
excuse me, I've got
yeah,
no jurisdiction to queue here, mate.
yeah,
Unless you're from another country that doesn't understand queuing, as it does seem every now and again. You go, excuse me, mate, can you get better?
yeah,
What is a queue? We don't have queues where I come from. Well, go and get some.
yes,
Go and
get a
get a
queue.
few queues and learn how it works. Because over here, we love nothing better than queuing. You just have one person looking up in the sky, and someone else will get behind him and look up in the sky, and someone will get behind him, and before you know it, they're all queuing for nothing. Because
Yes.
that's what we do in this country. We love to queue,
And we're good at it.
and we're good at it. We loved it
certificate.
so much, we named some gardens after it.
Yes.
Only we spelt it differently. Anyway, sorry about
So
that.
yeah, but see, the thing with being sovereign is we have the ability to govern ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, we apply the rules to ourselves. We're polite, we're decent, we'll wait our turn, hold the door open for a lady, all this sort of stuff, you know.
And if you've got to jump through hoops to get to that point of being the sovereign that we ought to have been from our birthright, you're not stupid, are you?
No.
You're not going to be stupid, as you said, and just drive through red lights and go, oh, I don't care because now I'm king of the road.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean,
But so, okay, so we've done all that. There we are. We're driving along in our little conveyance, travelling, minding our own business, not doing any commerce and what have you, having a jolly old time. And this blue light comes behind us and noises, and we're going, oh, please pass, and for some reason they're not passing. He's like, well, look, I've moved out of the way for you. What's the matter now? You're stopped. You know, you've got in front of me. Oh, get out of the way. I'm trapped. Oh, you want me to stop, do you? Oh, nothing to do with your system.
yeah.
So there they are. They come out. All right, sir. Is this your vehicle? No, it's not my vehicle. It's my conveyance, and I'm operating it. I don't know how to drive. I've never driven in my life, dear boy. How would you deal with the police? Because this is what happened to allegedly Dave.
Yes.
And they bully boy tactics, and they towed him away.
Yes, that was. I mean, I don't exactly.
That was 11
know.
years ago.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I don't know the process of what allegedly Dave did. All right. Now, I do know what some people have done this, and all they've done is they've taken the number plates off and then just started driving, saying, I'm in the private now. And you go, no, because you've just violated commerce. The car is still registered, and you've not notified the corporation, the DVLA, that you've unregistered it. That means the police officers or policy enforcers now have the right, pseudo right, it's still a scam, to seize the car. So this is why you've got to do due process. You've got to treat this as commerce. So if you've done the correct process, everything's done, all your paperwork is done. If the police pull you over, what they do, if they try and take the car, it's now theft. It's now theft. So what you would be doing, again, this is to do with the remedy that we're working on. You would serve notice on that person who is dressed as a police officer in the private, because wind your window down and go, who are you? Who are you? You're a policeman, are you? Well, what are you stopping me for? Oh, it's not registered. Oh, right. Here you are. I'm serving you notice, fella. That's it. And then I've served notice. He'll open it up and it'll be in there. And he's now been served notice. And in that notice, it will state that this car is in the private. You don't have the right to stop it. Blah, 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 blah. If he continues on, he's now liable. And the end goal would be, and I'm still working on this, there would be a legal team that would take over and sue the police for theft. Because you just say, right, all right, then you've stolen my car. I'm not going to get beaten up. I'll get an Uber. See you in court, fella.
And once that's happened a few times, the police will start to think twice about stopping these people. Doing that. So just relate this back then to the drink driving scam. All of that information that we went through at the beginning is part of being in the jurisdiction.
Yes.
And if you're not in the jurisdiction, they knock on your door and say, hello, sir, I see your vehicle's outside there, and I notice you're drinking a nice bottle of lemonade. Well, we think you're drunk. Well, I'm not drunk, it's lemonade, isn't it? Are you sure, sir? Is it none of that lovely fluoridated water that we love people to have a bit of that fluoridated water here around here, you know, give you some nasty problems in your health.
Well, that's true.
And you say, well, actually, none of your nonsense applies now. You can come and do it. By the way, you've just broken my door down. I'm going to be charging you for that as well, because have a look at this. I've got the certificate of, and it's not a certificate. I've got the statement of manufacture or origin.
Yeah, origin.
And I'm not registered with any of that. I'm not in your jurisdiction, and you're trespassing, mate. And it's £10,000 a step. It looks like you've done 10 steps into this house. Did you not read the notice? Oh dear, dear, dear. You must have got poor eyesight. I'm ever so sorry about that. What is your name? I'd just like to take that. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Apologies, sir. About your door, yes? Can you get it fixed by the 9 o'clock tonight? Of course, sir. Well, my brother's a carpenter. All right, we'll give you a brand new door. Lovely. Now, anyway, don't you darken my door again.
Yes, jog on.
But now I made it funny, but is it that easy?
Right. Now, here's the thing. Lawfully and legally, that is the correct remedy. Okay?
Yes.
Now, does that mean that some criminal police are going to leave you alone? No, they're still going to act. You're still going to get violence because there's multiple videos online now. You don't need to take it from me. Just watch the videos. We've seen police do horrendous crimes, caught on camera. People can make up their own decisions.
I can tell you that one of the biggest crimes I saw when these 3 policemen came to me was they were dressed scruffily.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I know all the sensibilities and everything else that was going on. I just looked at them and I thought, I've never seen such a scruffier bunch of bloody people who are supposed to be there in our minds. They're supposed to be there acting under common law with their constable oaths,
quotes,
but not being policy officers collecting revenue. And I just thought, you are the scruffiest bunch of 20-year-olds. You just look like delinquents. And that's an insult to thugs.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's a bloody insult to thugs. I mean, you get thugs better dressed. I really do. It's outrageous. And then they were, you report a crime to them and they just laugh at you. Crime? What is a crime? I know. We went to school once, didn't we? Yeah, I did mention something about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had to collect money.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they are. There's glorified thugs. It's extortion. It's racketeering. That's what they're doing. Using threats and violence to extort money from you. Period. End of. So, but anyway, going back to the solution, you're absolutely right. The police can still beat you up and all this. So I know individuals have done this and are in the middle of doing this right now. I know at least 10 plus people are actually on this process of deregistering and they want to take this battle on. Now, what I want to try and do is to basically organize this. I want to see how many people are truly interested in doing this and understand why they're doing it. That's more important. If they understand why, they've got the sovereign mindset and go, yeah, I want my car back. I've spent 50 grand on that, whatever, Porsche or something, and I don't own it. And now I'm being threatened and I want my car back. So I'd like to see, I mean, this is just open it up to the people watching this now. Can people make a comment down below? Would you be interested in this? Would you be interested in freedom and taking your car back? Let's see. I'm up for it.
See, I think if you're going to spend the money these days on any kind of motorized propellant device, you probably need to be thinking of something off land, one of these things, because it seems to me that if they're driver scams, they're vehicle license grabbing scams, ULEZ scams, if all of these things don't work, the biggest thing that they can do is just not repair the roads.
Yeah.
So that you just simply have to have a propellant motorized whatever that can traverse the terrain where the old roads used to be, where the tarmac is now growing and trees are just growing through, and you need to be able to come around, and do that.
Like an old 4x4 Toyota that diesel.
Exactly,
like that,
because your low to the ground Ferrari is probably in the future not going to be able to go very far, even though you've deregistered it, because there'll be a little stone that's just too,
You should see the potholes around here. It's
well, exactly. That is the thing. I mean, that's really where, you see them repairing the road and all that, and I think to myself, we know you don't want cars on the road. Why are you repairing? I want them to repair the roads, don't get me wrong, but it does seem to be that would be the easiest, that people just give up and go, But then, of course, they want people to go on bicycles.
Yes.
They don't want the insurance problem of all these people on bicycles going down potholes and ending up 50 feet under the ground and suing them.
I mean, people don't understand the importance of the car anyway, because the car, it creates wealth. That's what built America with the Model T, because you can suddenly transport goods and services very quickly over large distances. That creates wealth. If they take the car away from us who living in England, Scotland, and Wales, we'll be a third world country again. That's it.
Kind of think that that's what they want.
That's what they want.
So that we are then dependent on them handing out the Soylent Grey, Soylent Green, isn't it? You know,
handing out the crumbs.
Your parents who've been squished into biscuit form,
which they're doing already. If you know what's in the ingredients in Coke, but that's another discussion.
Let's not get into there. I didn't see the film with Cheston. What's his name? Heston. Cheston.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. Cheston.
Yeah.
So now, before we round up,
yes,
and let's just having a look at the time. Here we go. 5 minutes to the hour.
Can we squeeze in insurance dead quick? I'll try and do it.
Yes,
squeeze it in.
Squeeze it in. Go on.
I just want, because everyone's panicking over insurance. By the way, I just want to let everybody know you actually self-insure and you don't even know it. So what you do is when you take out an insurance policy, what you're actually doing is you're signing for a bond worth around $4 million. And then the insurance company hold this bond in case you have an accident. And then they take the money out of that to pay for the accident and all the rest of it. Now, the thing is that they're supposed to give you that $4 million bond back at the end of the 12 months, but they don't. And then after 3 years, they sell it on the debt market. So the insurance companies are making an absolute killing out of you. And then when you go and claim, they nickel and dime you and say, oh, no, your car might be, you bought it for 10, but we're only going to give you 3 because it's book price. But they're holding on to $4 million. So that's how insurance actually works. So when people wake up to that.
Well, let me ask you this then, because it seems to me that there is a number of these industries that are going to disappear if they take the cars away.
Yes.
You've got the car manufacturers who won't be able to sell cars, so there'll be a bunch of BMWs and Ferrari and all the others, Morris Travellers, my preferred vehicle, if I could afford one, the blessed, lovely old Morris Traveller. But there'll be all these companies that will be going, hang on a minute, this is we're going broke. I mean, nobody's buying electric vehicles anymore because they keep blowing up. And so, what a stupid idea that is. So, and they've invested millions in that, and they must be going, hang on, we're going to go broke here. Yeah. And then you've got the insurance companies who are going, well, we've taxed these, or not, we've cost these insurance to the point, but there's no cars now, so that's a huge market that we can no longer. I mean, these industries are not going to sit down and just take it, are they? Eventually they're going to turn around either to the government or the WEF or whomever. And the subterranean Frankists, or whomever it is, whatever, I always forget the wrong term, but whoever it is, and I mean, they are going to be hit by all this tyranny as well.
I know.
And so it's not in their favour to do any of this.
No, I agree. It's like a lot of people say that this entire system is orchestrated like by a central head. I don't think it is. I think you've got multiple powerful families all fighting over control, and they're killing each other at the top end, and they're destroying independent industries.
So it's like sort of mafia setups.
Yes.
Where, I want him dead. I want him dead.
Yeah, I agree.
He will get him.
I think that's what's going on.
It's a very, very weird version of the mafia. We will get him. Anyway,
that's like a gremlin thing. I think I put prom buds in your.
I've got yes, exactly. I've got all my film.
What's his name? Marlon Brando. That's what you got to
do. They've brought him back and put him on speed. So I hope the audience at home is laughing along with us.
You got to laugh. When you know how the system works, it's funny. Because you know how it works, and you go, I now know how they're scamming me.
Absolutely. And the knowledge as more and more people get the grips with this knowledge, that's where the snowball of change comes.
Yes.
Because a lot of people I know have said to me things like, well, it's all very well having these guests who talk about sovereignty and this, but how does it actually affect us here and now? And but he said, well, that's true. Yes, we've got the knowledge, but then until you knew that I don't know, that apples fall from trees in the wind, you could look at a tree and go, well, they're not falling. Yeah, we'll put the wind machine on, then they will. Once enough people know the knowledge, it will change.
Yes, that's right.
Talking of knowledge, of course, some things are not as genuine as others. And I've had this where people have they've emailed me and they said, "Here, Richard, I understand you want to contact me." And they go, "What gave you that idea?" "You're a snotty little bloke. I don't want to contact you." Joking. And they say, "But you said so in the comments." I said, "Oh, no, that's a scam. I never say on a WhatsApp or a Telegram me, an account that looks like me. I never say that. But people still fall for it. And they go, oh, and you want me to give you the donation. I was going to give you £100,000. I'm going to donate it to this other agenda. No. You don't have to donate anything unless you want to. But if you do, donate it to the correct man, and not some scammer."
Yeah.
And I understand you have problems with your Sovereign project.
Unfortunately, so I'm getting reports now from other people saying that there's bogus Twitter accounts, Sovereign Project Twitter accounts, apparently, and there's also a website that says it's the Sovereign Project, and that what they're doing is they're trying to charge for membership, and we don't charge for membership. In fact, we don't charge for the information. It's all free downloads. I think if you use Google and if you put my name in, apparently, and then the Sovereign Project, a different website comes up, which isn't mine. So everyone's getting directed to that one, and it's asking for membership fees. So we would never ask for membership fees, and we're always going to give the information away for free.
Because you can't imagine a sovereign saying you need to be a member or you need to register. You know, I mean, they're sort of words that would make you throw up into a bucket, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely right. You know, so yes, it's not us, and we are working on it. I mean, I've got a good team now, and we're going to try and do something in the new year. And I think I've got so many people in my team. I think I've got over 140 people now who's part of the core of the Sovereign Project, if you like. So we're all going to get together on Zoom next year and trying to sort this out and tighten up our security, because you know, the trolls are out there now and the scammers are out there. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's got a never-ending problem, really.
Yeah.
So your website for avoidance of doubt is thesovereignproject.live,
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
And not by any other name, so make sure you do that. And your Twitter is...
We're in the middle of actually setting up a Twitter account. So that's something new that we're set up.
Yeah. Although, of course, it's no longer Twitter now, is it?
Or X.
It's X and bacon.
Yeah. So we do have one. It's just changing hands. I had a friend of mine who set it up for me over a year ago, and we're just passing it over. We'll set that up in the new year, and then we'll put out a newsletter and say these are the official Instagram, Facebook, all the rest of it.
Brilliant. So I will put the link to your website, as I have just explained it there, so that people can go and check it. And so, Pete, thank you so much for coming on and giving me some laughs, some gloom and doom, and then, well, an answer which, although it is a good answer, of course, is quite tricky for people to do. Especially, you know, it's a big ask, isn't it?
Don't do it on an individual basis. This is, by the way, I'm not telling anyone to do this.
No.
I get accused of that. Oh, you're telling people to deregister your car. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the remedy.
Yes, that's a very valid point, actually, because you know there's a remedy for all sorts of things, but you may not be, you know, there's remedies like plunging yourself into cold water for 8 hours might be very good, but you may need to do 20 years training to get to the point where that remedy is useful.
Yes.
And so you don't just launch into a remedy because it's a remedy.
Yeah, you don't follow it parrot fashion, or because someone said so, or download it off the internet. You've got to learn this stuff. So
and I mean, I'm on the journey, and a year in, and I'm still sort of, you know, making the mistakes of person and this, that, and the other, and things. And
you're doing much better,
though. Thank you very much. I'm doing
doing great.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, you've got to have a bit of fun with it as well, because otherwise life's too serious, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You'll end up depressed.
You know, but sadly, people are panicking, they're worried, and of course those drink driving things that you mentioned. I mean, it is very frightening if the police comes in and they use all these weird power. I mean, we really do have to push back against this nonsense, because we can't expect a number of people, somebody in there, say in their 60s, balding with glasses on a YouTube channel.
Poor chap,
to
belly belly.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't expect somebody like him to be able to grasp all of this at his age. Poor bugger.
Poor lad.
Poor lad. Pete, it's been an absolute joy as ever. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Yep, and you?
I will do my utmost. And, of course, I'll be back with more monologues and wonderful interviews as and when. But until then, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Pete, for coming on the show. And until next time, from Pete and I, goodbye.
All right.